Hello everyone, welcome to the Movie Fanatics. My name is Brannick. Well, we're back, just like I said. We'll be back early January. Pixar, one of the most successful, influential, and popular animation studios of all time. In their early years, they were hitting home run after home run. So many of their early films are considered classics. Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, WALL-E, The Incredibles, so many of these films are timeless. Sure, the animation isn't as good as it used to be, but that can be overlooked. Point is, this studio knows how to make movies that are funny, emotional, and overall fantastic. Sure, it's a good thing that these guys have been able to stay on the top of their game and have been able to make films that are just as good as their first few. Let's look at Pixar's last 10 films, oldest to newest. Monsters University is a prequel to Monsters Incorporated that never needed to exist. I don't think anyone watched the first movie and thought, but what were Mike and Sully like in college? It's not a bad movie, fine but not phenomenal, pretty unmemorable. Inside Out is great. The movie is pretty emotional. Who would have thought? The setting is wondrous. It's very beautifully written and acted. Great movie. In an ironic twist, The Good Dinosaur is bad. It's just such a nothing movie. It's boring, bland, forgettable, stupid. I don't like it. Finding Dory is a sequel to Finding Nemo that never needed to exist. Again, it's not bad, but it's ironic that this is a movie about a character trying to remember her past, and I'm trying to remember that this movie even came out. Cars 3 is on the same level as Cars 1. Do with that what you will. Coco is an instant classic. This movie is expressive and emotional. It's one of the best in their entire catalog. Incredibles 2 is just a disappointment. The original is so great, and this one just doesn't live up to that. It was a lot of missed potential for a sequel. The way Toy Story 3 wrapped up, it made it seem like that was the end of the Toy Story story. No. Toy Story 4 really didn't need to exist. But it's a good movie. Not nearly as good as the other three, but it's really hard to make Toy Story bad. I still walked away feeling like it was a worthy installment in the franchise. Now, we got the trailers for Onward and Soul at around the same time, and personally, I was way more excited for Soul. But Onward came out first, so how was that? Onward is exactly what I expected. It didn't wow me. Again, it's a fun enough movie, but it's not one that you'll think about for more than 30 seconds after you see it. Now, out of those 9, 5 were sequels or spin-offs, and I'd only consider 2 to be great movies. Now, I've been disappointed with modern Pixar, but Soul was showing promise, and it would seem like it would be a return to form for the company. So how was it?
Yeah.
There will be spoilers. Click away. I'm gonna spoil it. Let's start with the characters. The main two are Joe Gardner and 22. Joe lives in New York City and dreams of being a jazz musician. 22 is a soul who doesn't want to go to Earth, and she hasn't tried to prior to meeting Joe. When I first saw the trailer, I thought 22 was just going to be a quirky side character that accompanied Joe on his journey as a character, but no, she gets her own little character arc. It was nice. And I really liked their chemistry throughout the film. Part of what makes Joe in particular fun to watch is the way he reacts to all these new, mysterious environments he finds himself in once he dies. Once he leaves the colorful, bustling New York streets and ends up in this dark void, I was afraid he would spend the whole movie here. Thankfully, Joe breaks out of the escalator thing that leads to the Great Beyond and ends up in this colorful, otherworldly meadow of sorts. The Great Before is this colorful countryside where souls figure out their passions and dreams before heading to Earth. Here we meet 22, who has been here for thousands of years because she doesn't want to go to Earth. The environments take center stage in this movie, and there's a nice juxtaposition between the dirty yet vibrant New York City streets and the soul realm, where the color palette is made up of blues and pinks of the Great Before, and the grayish blues of this field where the lost souls roam. The character designs for Joe as a human and as a soul are just as good as the environment's design, and it's good that these two things switch throughout the movie. And the film is really great at making both of these environments fun to watch. When Joe and 22 first returned back to Earth, I was disappointed because I had grown to love the world of the souls. Then I remembered I was disappointed when Joe first went to the world of the souls. The movie is really good at making you love both of the worlds, but I was flat out worried when halfway through the movie Joe ends up in the body of a cat and 22 ends up in Joe's body. That was the moment that I thought that I knew exactly how the rest of the movie was going to play out. 22 was going to do that gig in Joe's body and then discover her passion and eventually go to Earth. But the movie didn't make it that easy. It took a direction that I honestly didn't expect. 22, having been finally forced to come to Earth, realizes that her passion is just the simple joys of living, and Joe unintentionally becomes a villain, crushing her newfound dreams. Right before they're about to get their souls put back where they're supposed to be, 22 runs away to go find her passion, not knowing that she already has, and they both get taken back to the Soul Realm. In the Soul World, Joe finds out that 22 finally got her Earth Pass, and is furious that she wants to go to Earth now since he believes that she only found her passion because of him. But by this point, 22 doesn't even want to go to Earth anymore, and she runs away to become a lost soul, consumed by the idea that she's not good enough to live. Joe returns to Earth and finally plays the gig of his dreams, and he's happy at first. But then he realizes that it's more of a daily job, playing the gig over and over, and he realizes that maybe his dreams weren't what he thought they were. Joe plays his piano in his apartment, and we get this montage where he realizes that 22 deserved to live, and he took that chance away from her. He returns to the Soul Realm and finds 22. When he goes inside the Lost Soul, he sees these ghostly images of her past mentors yelling at her, and the largest one is one of Joe telling her that her passions don't mean anything. Joe realizes what he'd done to her, and he offers her the chance to go to Earth, even though he knows it'll mean he has to go to the Great Beyond. He knows he's already lived his life, and now it's 22's turn. At the end of the portal, 22 goes to Earth, and Joe goes to the Great Beyond, finally comfortable with his death. But he's offered a chance to go back to Earth, and he steps back into the world. The end. At the beginning of the movie, we see Disney presents a Pixar film, but nothing after that. The whole movie plays, and finally, after Joe enters Earth again, we get the movie's title card, because the story is just now starting with Joe and 22 finally able to live their best lives. This is the kind of movie that you can't really appreciate fully on your first viewing, but with Soul, Pixar is back to reclaim its throne. If there's any problems I have with it, is that some of the movie's concepts aren't fully fleshed out, and the Soul world, while visually interesting, isn't the most well developed. Also, this movie really isn't that funny. Most of the jokes fell flat for me personally, and this movie just didn't really need jokes, but if you're gonna include them, at least make them good. But this movie is still amazing. It's really good. I highly recommend it, and it's easily worth getting a Disney Plus free trial for it. This movie exceeded my expectations, and I hope Pixar can keep making movies like this that are just as good as their previous triumphs. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Braden will have a video that'll come out soon, so watch for that. My next video might be a Spider-Man ranking. Might be. In reality, I won't be making a solo video until I finish editing a big video. It's all recorded, it's ready to go, but it just needs to be edited. Kinda dreading that because it's a lot of footage to go through. I think it's like an hour and a half. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that because there's a lot of good stuff in there, but there's also a lot of garbage. I won't spoil what it is, and Braden, you better not either. It's supposed to be a surprise. That's all. Thanks for watching. This is Brannick from the Movie Fanatics, signing off.